Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Tuesday, October the 21st. We'll start things off with the reason why I'm wearing a Nordiques jersey for this video. No, sadly, they're not getting their team back. However, we're getting the jerseys back on the ice. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche, both times that they meet each other this season, Carolina will wear a Whalers jersey and the Avalanche will wear a Nordiques jersey. So that's kind of fun. There is the third occasion where the Canes are going to wear the Whalers throwback, and that will be against the Utah Mammoth, which is odd, but hey, sure, why not? So let me know your thoughts. I know there are people who'd rather see those teams come back than, we just see these throwbacks to the old jerseys. I'm just glad to see them. I know playing NHL games, if I was, running a Carolina or a Colorado franchise, I would have them wear their old jerseys from before they moved as well. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. I think it's a fun idea, and considering it's the 30th season for the Colorado Avalanche, it makes sense that they would throw back to the Nordiques because that is their roots. So, yeah. The Toronto Maple Leafs, as they continue to try to find the formula that's going to get them on a run, Cowan is out of the lineup tonight. Yarncroke is in, and of course they're playing against the New Jersey Devils. So it's important to get a win over your former coach, just as I'm sure it's important for the former coach to get a win over the team that he used to coach. So that should be an entertaining game tonight on this 10-game schedule, which features a doubleheader, which means the 7 o'clock start, my time, will be more like 7:20. So I saw that this morning, and I was like, right, it's Wednesday, doubleheader on TNT, so cool. 2.5 hours between games doesn't work. Anyways, yeah, so let me know your thoughts on the Leafs continuing to try to find this formula that's going to, get them on a bit of a run here as we're still in the early days of the season. Montreal Canadiens news. Josh Roy and Del Gaizo have been called up from Laval. I like Roy. I'd like to see him earn himself a regular spot in the Montreal lineup, but each season that seems less and less likely. And Doc is traveling with the team. Line A is not. Also with Raw and Del Gaizo coming up, Owen Beck has been returned to Laval. So Montreal trying to mess around with their lineup a little bit here, and we'll see how things go. It should be interesting to see Del Gaizo playing for Montreal. Tampa Bay news. Gergensons is at practice. He should return soon. He hasn't played yet during the regular season. Kucherov, the more important, I would argue, of the two between himself and Zemgus Girgensons. No offense to Girgensons. Kucherov at practice as well. So Tampa Bay getting closer to having players back that they desperately do need. Crozier won't be available for the next 3 home games. So Max Crozier is going to be out for at least a week. Beyond this, and Girgensons and Kucherov, it looks like will both be back in the lineup before that's done. At least that seems to be where things are trending. Matt Duchene dealing with an upper body injury for the Dallas Stars. He won't be playing tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Duchene had a fantastic season last year. Trying to replicate that this year, so hopefully this isn't a serious injury for him. Hopefully it is no big deal. But you never know, because NHL teams don't always give us all the information on it. Luukkonen has been sent to the American Hockey League by the Sabres. It's a conditioning stint. So usually with a conditioning stint, you get a game or two in the AHL, and then you come back up. So Luukkonen probably starts the next couple of games for Rochester, and then comes back up. And then for Buffalo, I think Lions won the starting job. Even though Buffalo's off to a 2-4 start, I think Lions provided them with really good goaltending. I think he is their starter at this point in time, and Luukkonen would be the 1B. So it'd be a 1A, 1B type situation at this point in time. But yeah, we'll see how all that goes for him. I'm not entirely surprised by this. It looks like Sheloves is going to be the starter tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So he was the first goalie off the ice this morning, and generally speaking, the first goaltender to leave is the one that's going to start that night. The backup then does a little bit of extra work. So Sheloves playing against the Canucks. I get the feeling that's how it's meant to be. So I do always hope that a team will let a goaltender have a shot at his former team. Kind of like, hey, I'm going to make you guys regret trading me. I'm going to make you guys regret letting me go. So this should make for a fun night tonight. And yeah, Shelov's obviously a lot of the guys playing on the Canucks right now are the guys that won the Calder Cup with him. So don't be too surprised if during the pregame skate and the warm-up you see Shelov's having conversations with people on the Canucks side of the ice, because these guys may not have seen each other for a bit. It might be kind of fun. So that does add a whole new layer to the game. You'll have former Abbotsford Canucks against one another so soon after winning the Calder Cup together. Mark Stone, upper body injury. This came out after the news of the day video went live yesterday that it is week to week. So he is on IR for the Vegas Golden Knights. With Mark Stone, we know that there's usually at least one injury a season. And despite people not necessarily buying the injuries, I think he's just unlucky. I do. I think Mark Stone is just unlucky. I think he's gone through a lot of injury issues. And so hopefully this one isn't too bad. But if it's week to week, minimum of 2 weeks. And we'll see if he's back at that point. So I talked yesterday about how the Canucks reportedly weren't necessarily happy they couldn't just do a paper transaction sending Mancini down. So they brought up Schultz, and then they sent Schultz back down, again, after the news video went live yesterday. Willander and Amon have been recalled instead. Willander, of course, that's going to bring up some excitement level for Canuck fans, because that is a former first-round draft pick of the Vancouver Canucks that fans want to see how well he can play. And Amon is serviceable as a fourth-line player. I know there are people who aren't a huge fan of Amon. I think he's fine as a depth player, a depth forward in the organization. So he'll just play a fourth-line role if he's in. I think Bluger's questionable for tonight, too. A lot of hurting centers right now for the Canucks. So Ratu probably gets in there. I would think Amon probably fourth-line center. Maybe Ratu's the third-line center. But yeah, for the Canucks, they're just dealing with it right now. And they're still 4-2. So despite all of the concern, they're at least 4-2. They've got a good record. Speaking of records, the Rangers, not so much. They're 0-4. And clearly they're not happy about it, and they shouldn't be. I'd be very concerned if they were. Miller points out these games are close and that they're just not getting the bounces. Zibanejad admits it's frustrating and that he needs to bear down a little bit more on his chances. He did talk about how it'd be more alarming if they weren't generating opportunities, if they weren't generating scoring chances, but they are. And last night's game is another example of the Rangers played well at times. Minnesota played well at times as well. That game could have gone either way. The Rangers just couldn't get more than that one goal. And that is, I would think the fact they have one goal in 4 home games, it's going to start, messing with them a little bit. It's going to start, they're going to be squeezing their sticks a little bit harder, maybe forcing shots they shouldn't. This is where things can get a lot worse. So this is where Mike Sullivan earns his money as coach, to try to keep them steady and make sure they don't start getting into some bad habits as well. But being 0-4 at home, it's tough. And the media definitely letting them know this doesn't look great, to which the Rangers are answering, we know. We're aware. We played the game. We know. So let me know your thoughts on that. The Rangers not having that turnaround season that many, including myself, felt that they would. Marchessault dealing with a lower body injury. He is day-to-day. He will not play tonight. However, Martin does draw into the lineup, so this will be, I believe, his 3rd game in the National Hockey League. He's playing tonight against Anaheim. Keep an eye on Martin, see if he gets past that 9-game mark, which would burn the first year of his contract. I'm not thinking he does. It feels like he's one of those players that's around. He's a healthy scratch. He'll get into some games, and then they'll send him down before he reaches the 10-game mark. But for Nashville, we'll see what ends up happening. Corey Perry is set to debut against the Blues tonight. The LA Kings basically announcing this with... just imagine if we had said in 2012 that Corey Perry was going to debut for us, what the reaction would have been. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically the idea. They're not wrong. Corey Perry playing for the Kings and considering his career with the Ducks and the rivalry with the Kings, it's going to look weird. It's going to look weird. And this is a Corey Perry that's been through numerous teams over the last 10 years. But it is going to look weird seeing him playing tonight for the Kings against the Blues. But the Kings need Perry in there. They need his grit. They need that little bit of scoring. He still does have the ability to put in goals here and there. And with Kopitar being out for as long as he is, there's some leadership aspect to Corey Perry's game as well that's going to come in handy. So that should help the Kings. I don't know if they necessarily win tonight. but it should help having Perry in the lineup. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of this information on the board. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.